Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Today we're going to be talking about It, Welcome to Derry.
What's your favorite scary movie?
So I was able to watch the first 5 episodes of It, Welcome to Derry. Don't worry, not going to be giving any kind of spoilers away for the series. That way you guys can enjoy it just like I was able to. So the series takes place in 1962, and now for those of you guys who haven't heard, if this does well, it sounds like they have plans to make 2 more seasons that'll go back in time and explore some of those previous events, and I really hope that they get the chance to do that after watching these first 5 episodes because I've really enjoyed what I've seen so far. But with this series, it's not just a Pennywise prequel series, or an It prequel series, I should say. It also focuses on the town of Derry itself, so I want to make sure some people kind of have the right expectations going into the series, because I feel like a lot of people are hoping that Pennywise is in every single episode. And while that specific incarnation doesn't show up a little bit later into the series, you do get plenty of other incarnations pretty much right from the get-go. So don't worry, there is plenty of It in the series. And Welcome to Derry quickly lets the audiences know that this series does belong on HBO, and it earns its R rating. There is a moment, there is a sequence, it's like the first 10 or 15 minutes, I'll just say it takes place in a car. And my girlfriend and I were watching it, and we were just like, Jesus Christ. It certainly earns its R rating for sure. There's also a moment in the second episode, too, that when you guys see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But if there was any of you out there that were worried about that the series might be a little bit more tame, you don't have to worry about that. There's plenty of carnage, at least in the first 5 episodes that I've seen. And at minimum, going into this series, I would say that you'll want to have at least seen It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2. I haven't watched those in a little bit, and I was still able to pick up on a lot of the things because I've seen the miniseries, I've read the book. It's been a little while since I've read the book, but if you at least seen those, I think that there's some things in there that you'll appreciate a little bit more. But if you're a big King fan, there is a ton of Easter eggs in here, and so if you're a King fan, I think that you're going to have a lot of fun with this series because there's a lot of different shout-outs throughout the episodes. So like, for example, Shawshank is mentioned several times throughout the series. You will also have, which this has already been announced, it's not a spoiler, you have the character of Dick Hallorann who pops up from The Shining. He's played by Chris Chalk, and I love what they did, what they're doing with the character in the series. Definitely one of my favorite characters so far, just to explore everything with him. And there's a lot of fun little things like that in this series to pick up on, and just kind of connecting the Stephen King universe here. And one of the main storylines here in Welcome to Derry is the Hanlon family moving to Derry itself, and you have Leroy Hanlon who's working on this top secret army base, and so it was really fun to explore and find out what they're working on that base as the episodes go on in the series. And I thought the casting for this family, and specifically just because they're such a key element of the It story, I thought that the casting was excellent from top to bottom with those guys. And the kids have always been a key component to any iteration of It, whether it be the miniseries, the movies that we've got, any of those aspects that feature the kid. For me, and I feel like a lot of audience members, those tend to be the strongest, and I can say that they did a really solid job with the casting for all the kids here that you do see in the series. And there are some twists and turns with these characters. I'm not going to go into details because we're not supposed to talk about any of those aspects, but I'll just say there are some twists and turns with them that I wasn't expecting, which really kept me on my toes. And like I said, it is in this series right from the get-go. We get to see several different iterations of the character before we get to Pennywise the Clown, even though he doesn't, show up a little bit later on in the series. But don't worry, they do a good job of making his presence felt throughout the series. So when he does finally pop up, I felt like it was worth the wait. I would say one of probably my biggest negative for the series from what I've seen so far is just some of the CGI effects work here is a little wonky at times, and there are some scenes that, if that would have been nailed down a little bit better, I think would have just kind of taken it to the next level. So there were some moments where those scenes kind of took me out of it a little bit. But I'd say that's probably like my biggest negative from what I've seen for the series so far. The intro that's introduced in episode 2 and then features throughout the rest of the episodes, at least from what I've seen so far, is really well done, super creepy. I love the 60s aesthetic and soundtrack that they have for the series. And I was really interested too to see how the natives, who live in and around Derry, how they factor into this series and what they're doing. I found that really interesting. Overall, as a Stephen King fan, I had so much fun watching these first 5 episodes. I can't wait to watch the last 3. there's just, ever since this series was announced, I thought it was a great idea because these different things are touched on in the book, they're touched on in the movies as well. And as an audience member, I remember reading those, watching those, saying it'd be really cool if we could go back and kind of explore those, see how it has evolved over time. And so that's what this series is doing right here, and I hope they get a chance to do with a second season, with a third season, going back in time even more. So overall, as far as the series goes, for the first 5 episodes, I'm going to give this an 8.7 out of 10. Definitely recommend it. It's perfect timing for spooky season. If you guys are a horror fan, if you guys are a Stephen King fan, definitely check it out. And let me know what your guys' thoughts are once you get a chance to watch it. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. And if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it. That way you get notifications for all my new videos. Give this video a thumbs up. I really, really appreciate it. And keep an eye out. I might have some Welcome to Derry interviews coming soon.